He plays!
The best players in the world and their best plays. It's sports on 32 FM 94.9.
All right, so we are gathered once again this afternoon to discuss about sporting stories. Yesterday, we told you that the build-up to that fight is set to go down this weekend between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Yes, it is building up. And then in the world of basketball, just in the early hours of today, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he helped the side, the Milwaukee Bucks, win the NBA championship. That's the cup, NBA Cup, not the title itself now, just in the early hours of today. And then we talk about all of other stories. Yesterday, also there in Doha, Qatar, we had the FIFA Men's Award and also the Female Award, where Aitana Bonmati was a big winner once again, consecutive year for the Spaniard, now the Barcelona player, and winning the Women's Player of the Year. And then for Vinicius Junior, a man that was denied the Ballon d'Or. Rightfully, he won this, but how many votes did he have just to displace Rodri of this? I think it's not more than 5 votes. He used to displace Rodri. Well, we'll talk about the FIFA Men's Best Award. And then we also take a look at the 11 that are the players that were put together, the retired Toni Kroos in that list. We have William Saliba. And a lot of people have asked, what has William Saliba done to be on that list of players with those other 11 guys, 10 guys who are on that list? Emiliano Martinez, we know he's on that list. We also have Rudiger. We have Dani Carvajal. We have Lamine Yamal. People also discussed about Lamine Yamal being on that list. And then Jude Bellingham. But in the female category also, Emma Hayes. What a year 2024 for her. Back off coming back to win the WSL, the Women's Super League there in England. And then she went to the Olympics with the US and she won the Olympics championship. Rightfully so, she was crowned the Women's Coach of the Year. And then we'll talk about some other awards in which players got for themselves yesterday. And so on the show this afternoon, we definitely take a look at that, all that happened yesterday also there in Doha, Qatar. And the games are set to go down today. A London derby, Arsenal against Crystal Palace, Newcastle against Brentford, and Southampton against the Liverpool Football Club. All in the EFL Cup quarterfinals. And in the Spanish La Liga, Spain will be up against Valencia, Villarreal up against Rayo Vallecano, and in France, AS Monaco will be up against Paris Saint-Germain. That's in the French Ligue 1. And in the Coppa Italia, hopefully, Ademola Lookman would present his African Player of the Year award to the fans of that's Bergamo and Atlanta Football Club when they host the Cesena Football Club later tonight in the Coppa Italia round of 16. And AS Roma would be up against Sampdoria. Well, it's actually a long week already. We are just on Wednesday. But we still have more reactions from all that happened on Monday there in Marrakesh, Morocco, where the former Nigeria Football Federation president, Amaju Melvin Pinnick, well, he discussed right after the awards on Monday that, well, it took the Nigeria Football Federation quite a time to get Ademola Lookman on board. But before you hear the voice of Peter, well, I am SAMIES, your sports captain, and Peter is with me in the studio, definitely, and we are here to discuss about sporting stories. So I continue by, from where I stopped, talking about Amaju Melvin Pinnick and the Nigeria Football Federation, Ademola Lookman. Yes, when I saw that interview, I was like, yes, this man did a lot for Nigerian football, but then, how is it that people really don't like the sound of the name Amaju Melvin Pinnick?
Well, thanks for having me. Just a few minutes ago, you were dishing out and helping us with the games later tonight, and I'm a bit surprised that You didn't mention the Intercontinental Cup game tonight by 6 in Doha, where the FIFA Best Player of the Award took place. And when I say that, that would be Pachuca of Mexico will be up against Real Madrid. Of course, we're the UEFA Champions League final. So just to have
to Stadium.
Yes.
And the last time Mbappe was there, he scored a hat-trick.
Yeah, and they lost the final to Lionel Messi and Argentina.
Well, I never thought of Real Madrid losing.
Anyways, tonight will be the final, 6 to be precise. And then just to add to some of the football menu that we'll have on display later today. So you were talking about 𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐃𝐈𝐒. So, because we don't have the numbers, so we can't say majority or we say less people. But when 𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐃 talk, there's this worry, in quote, thing in 𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐃 when he talks. I find people say he brags a lot. But maybe to some extent, if you take a listen to him well, you probably understand that those things he's saying, a few, if not more, are actually what it is. But it is the way 𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐃 goes about it. So maybe I'll allow you to take a listen to what 𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐃 said after the award on Monday night in Marrakesh, where Ademola Lookman won the Best Player of the Year, and 𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐃 is here talking about how he helped Nigeria ensure that Ademola Lookman gets into the Super Eagles issue of documentation and have to go to the DAR to secure them, and a whole lot more about even Ahmed Musa. So let's allow you to take a listen to 𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐃, and when we come, we'll react more.
I recall just before we played this first game, there were just a correspondent I needed. I had to run to the Korean club to meet the dad in ensuring that I got that personally. That's that you can ask him. So it was a lot of effort. I was to do this interview last week, but I didn't want to sway. I wanted the vote to be quite organic. A lot of people called me to talk about this. The role that I played. I didn't want to. I wanted everything to be organic, and thank God everything went well. And like I said, we are very proud of him, but this should be a tonic for greater things to come for him. And you see, I don't just, when I was in NFL, I recall when even Musa was about to be dropped from a match, 2-3 matches to the World Cup. Because he wasn't playing for Leicester, a lot of issues. And I called the coach, I don't intervene, but Musa must go for this game, one of these international friendly games. He said, why? I said, this is my own, in Delta we call it slot, he must go. He said, I'm not going to, I said, let him be the 24th player. And guess what? Musa was the hero 2018. So I'm not giving myself credit, but there are some things that God just imputed me to say, do.
So, 𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐃, just to pick some of the things he said, he spoke about Ademola Lookman, how he ensured he played for the Super Eagles. You were here off mic saying the numbers that
𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐃 the Oyinbo Wolves.
That he spoke, yeah.
He spent 2 terms.
Yeah.
And he did quite a lot getting some of the European boys now.
Yeah.
We call them like INT'L boys. That's what we say. INT'L boys. Those guys, the likes of Olaoluwa, the German, that's Trustekong, Leon Balogun, all of these guys. Kelvin Akpobuma.
Yeah.
All of them, it brought them on board to play. But there are some, even Ademola Lookman, it was at the 4th time begging. That was when he came on board to play for the Super Eagles.
Is an English youth international.
Yes, he won the World Cup.
Yeah.
Yes, he won the World Cup with them. And then we know he's from Charlton to
South London.
He played
Crystal Palace.
Charlton.
Did he play for Crystal Palace?
No, he played for Everton. He played for Everton Football Club.
Yes.
Fulham. He went away from England.
Leipzig.
He went to RB Leipzig. In fact, he also now played that in Leicester City.
Yeah.
So he scored quite some goals. But what mad is stay in England happens to be where people, I think, lost trust in Ademola Lookman was that failed Panenka penalty against West Ham Football Club.
Yeah.
But all of that now.
That was during the COVID.
Yeah, all of that now,
season.
It's in the past. And from the statement Ademola Lookman made on Monday, just 4 years ago, I failed in front of the world. But look at him now. Everyone is celebrating Ademola Lookman. And it's actually been a greater one for him. And so I look at other players also who are almost of the same situation as Ademola Lookman. I mean, you are not representing your motherland. Yeah. And I look at the likes of Tammy Abraham, Fikayo Tomori. Where are these guys today? When they were at the prime of their games, well, I won't say prime now. Don't let me say prime. When they were at the top of their games, Nigeria came begging, but they turned Nigeria down. And now they chose England. Where are they with the English national team now? You have a fit Harry Kane. Do you think another striker could displace Harry Kane? At the Euros, we saw Harry Kane. He was not as fit as Oli Watkins, who had one of his best seasons in England, but he didn't get a starting berth ahead of Harry Kane. So that actually weighs it that, okay, there is a level of favoritism in this thing. Not everybody can be like Bukayo Saka. Not everybody can be like Jamal Musiala. We know Jamal Musiala also is a Nigerian. We know that's
also Michael Olise.
Michael Olise is a Nigerian. He's playing for France. And I think what actually brought Michael Olise into the French national side is the trust or the way Henry picked him.
During the Football Olympic Games.
Went to the Olympic Games and they saw that, okay, this is a way to integrate him. And he has been let's say, unstoppable with his game now. And Didier Deschamps has had no reason to drop him out of the Les Blues squad. And they will talk about another player who has faced another scenario, and is our own Karim Adeyemi, also with the German national team. He has been out of the German national team, and there is no going back again. These guys can't represent Nigeria. How much more should the federation keep begging players to come on board and play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria? Or it should be a thing of choice or willingness. I want to do this, let me do it.
Ahmad Pinnick did his best. You might not like some of the things he did, I might not, but in terms of ensuring that we have the best play for the Eagles, like you heard from that interview, is always, if it is for him to intervene, to interfere, whichever English you want to use, Ahmad Pinnick is there. And he talked about 2018 where we went to the World Cup. We played against Iceland, we played against Argentina, and Musa scored 4 goals in that World Cup. And as we speak right now, he's the highest in terms of number of goals scored by any Nigerian player at the Senior World Cup. So it will be saying to whoever cares to listen, I did that. I went to the coach, Gennett Raw, and I told him, make Musa, if it is for you to say this is my candidate, I don't mind. So there's a level that Ahmad Pinnick will act and you begin to wonder, this guy, you're home too much, but you lets you know I'm doing the best. So the best, one of the best for him was to go get some Nigerians who have Nigerian descent to come play for the Eagles. So sad that Tammy Abraham, who his roots is from Warren Delta State, where Ahmad also came from, did not play for the Eagles. And you begin to count with your fingers how many games Tammy played for the English national team. Fikayo Tomori, of course, we know can play for England, can play for Canada, can play for Nigeria. He decided to say, no, I want to play for the Three Lions. And as we speak right now, look at the set of boys benching him or not even getting him invited to the Three Lions of England, and compared to where he's playing football. So when we begin to roll out the names, it's just the player, or of course, by extension, the family who decide where the player wants to play. For Karim Adeyemi, he did well with Germany. He's been out injured. I guess if he's back to full fitness, the head coach of Germany,
I call him the Fufu boy.
What's his name now? The head coach of Germany, Nagelsmann, will likely, because from the list of players invited so far by him to the national team for the Euro Nations League and the other games, you've seen new faces. So he's trying to build something new. And Karim has been out for quite a number of months, even though he was on the bench in the last few games for Dortmund. So if he's back fully fit for 2025, he might just get a look in. But for Tammy, for Fikayo, it reminds me of Gabi Agbola, who Nigeria begged and begged and begged. Not him, so many of them. John Fashanu also, who were begged and begged in those years. They didn't come to play for the Eagles.
And all of these things is way different from athletics, where you can switch allegiance.
Yes. Football does not allow you to play. So for the likes of Ola, they will say this was a good option we made.
Very good.
These guys, not him. Don't forget that there was also Victor Moses.
Moses, yes.
Yeah, I remember he played for Crystal Palace. When I mentioned Crystal Palace, it was Victor Moses. And look at what happened to Victor Moses. Yes, he didn't win the Player of the Year, but he won AFCON with the late Stephen Keshi. So it's a choice. It's a call to make if you think it's good for you to come play for the Eagles. But I think we've come to a point where we don't need to go beg anybody to play for the Eagles.
Could you also think that it's because we are not winning?
Yeah, I know we're not winning, but it's just one of the things you see in football. It's like you're saying Brazil now struggling with points for the World Cup. Will they go beg some players to come play for the national team of Brazil? That won't happen. So for me, I think it's just one of those things that happen to you, those beliefs that happen in the world of football. If we can put ourselves together and get things going, why can't we get back to winning ways? So for me, I think we can speak to people, speak to players of Nigerian descent to come play, but that word beg should not come.
Well, all right, just as Peter said, that the word beg shouldn't come. Well, we look forward to that, and then we just go straight to Qatar, where the best, that's the FIFA Best Award ceremony, went down yesterday. And it was Vinicius Jr. who definitely stole the headline ahead of Rodri. Well, how would you have felt if this one went to Rodri again yesterday?
Everything was, no, the points were there that Vini was going to win. And I saw the breakdown of how they went about voting. In fact, the fans voted more for Vini than the coaches and the captain. I've also seen quite a number of captains who actually voted for Vinicius Jr. The coaches, SAMIES, they voted more for Rodri than Vini. So it was FIFA who said, you know what, we put this out. There's a percentage for coaches, there's a percentage of votes for captains, and of course for the fans. And Vinicius got the highest. Carlo Ancelotti also was named manager of the year yesterday. And you spoke about the 11, the FIFA 11.
Yeah. And
you're talking about questions about, maybe to some extent, I quite agree with the names of the players that were on that 11. And you see more players from Real and Manchester City. Toni Kroos, who's retired, is there. Lamine Yamal, Vinicius Jr. When you see names like these, you say, yes. Maybe for Lamine Yamal, some will raise question of last season maybe wasn't too good, but in terms of going to the Euros, we saw what he did with the national team of Spain at 17, a teenager, how he helped them, propel them, him and Inaki Williams to win the Euros. So you want to say maybe to some extent it deserves to be there. For me, I think that composition. I have a question
for one man. Yeah.
Okay,
Lautaro Martinez.
That
he
is
won
not
the
there.
Copa America. He won the Italian Serie A.
This is what football gets us doing. It gets us talking.
And he was the highest goal scorer.
You can go on and talk about the number of games, but how much influence
Lautaro Martinez is an
I know you use this word a lot because the other day you were trying to break down why this player, if he's not there, talking about African Player of the Year. Yes, quite agree that Lautaro, captain of Inter Milan, if you take him away from that Argentina side, wouldn't have gone ahead to win the Copa. They would. So for me, I don't think it's something that we should sit down here and probably put an argument forward for Lautaro Martinez if it's not there. I know it's good, fantastic. Won the Scudetto, won the Copa also, yeah, and his name is not there. You can't have more than 11. So I think this 11 well deserving for me, including Saliba, who, of course, is also part of the list. So I don't think anybody should come here and say otherwise about these players. You can have your opinion, but don't forget, it has to be 11. Like you're saying, for a club side, like Chelsea, for example, you say, why is Felix not playing? Why is Kuku not playing? But hey, football is 11. So you have to make do with 11. And for me, FIFA, to some extent, I'll give them 8 over 10 in terms of the number of players in that FIFA 11 for me.
You give them 8 over 10. In the female category also, we have most of the US players and the Spaniards are making the list.
Yeah,
yes,
no
for
doubt.
Spain, FC Barcelona,
No doubt.
Most of them playing for FC Barcelona in the US.
Yes.
They won the Olympic Games, despite that. Not taking anything away from that, the Spaniards also reaching the 3rd place in games of the that's Olympic Games. But Emiliano Martinez, I think this man has been on that wave of, well, let's say, legendary status since the year 2020-21 from Arsenal Football Club, where he made a stand for himself, moving to Aston Villa, and of course propelling that's Argentina to win the FIFA Men's World Cup. That save from Randall Colomwani, I think it is legendary also. But we move away from that and let's discuss about one man. The name is Marcus Rashford at this point. Well, for Marcus Rashford, he has been under lots of scrutiny from both Manchester United fans, and over the course of the weekend it came from the manager, where he had issues with maybe actions on and off the field of play, and he has urged him, these are the things you should do right if you want to be a part of this squad. Not only Marcus Rashford now, Alejandro Garnacho, who won, why would I forget that? He won at the Puskas, that goal against Everton. And then he has also thrown in that one in also too. That's Alejandro Garnacho. But for Marcus Rashford, he has come out to say that he wants a new challenge. And is that what really Marcus Rashford should be after now outside Manchester United?
Well, a new challenge. That's one of the things that Ruben reacted to ahead of that game on Thursday against Spurs in the AFL Cup quarter-final. And a new challenge in what sense? A new challenge. I'm going to telling him, yes, things are quite new now, so you have to push. And so for Rashford, when I saw those statements yesterday, just trying to read through the statements, looks like to some extent he's already given up. Like his chances are slim at remaining at United. The boy is on 350k per week, and you expect him to have such pressure. A boy who Louis van Gaal, I guess, brought into the limelight. The first time I saw him was against Arsenal.
In the Europa League, he scored a brace in the Europa League.
In fact,
he came against Arsenal.
Yeah, that was his game. I saw, not the Europa League where it came, and he blew the Gunners apart in that game. And then United says, "Here we've got him, another strong player for the future." Him and Anthony Martial never worked for United. I say never, because for Rashford he's still struggling. So if a new challenge comes in, if United can get what they're quoting, 40, 50, 60 million, that depend on the club that wants to buy, they will allow him go. But hey, he has to fight for that place. Not sure if he can make his place in that quarter-final game on Thursday against Spurs. But it hasn't been the best so far for Rashford. And he says yesterday during that press conference, he said, no matter what anybody say, his heart is red. And so whatever club he finds himself in the next few weeks, he's saying to everybody who cares to listen, my heart is with Manchester United. It all depends now on what Ruben Amorim will be saying in a couple of weeks, and to see if Rashford will still have a future with Manchester United.
All right, let's take a listen to the words of Ruben Amorim speaking about Manchester United. That's Marcus Rashford.
I think he's right. We have here a new challenge. It's a tough one. For me, it's the biggest challenge in football, because we are in a difficult situation, and I already said that this is one of the biggest clubs in the world. So this is really a new challenge and the biggest one. And I hope all my players are ready for this new challenge.
That's just a way to reply that word question from Rashford about he wants a new challenge, and then the head coach is telling him, I will not even give you only challenge, I will even give you Rita, because you have to say where you must come to this party and play. If you don't play, I'm not like the other coaches who pamper you. You have to get results. We have to get results, and we have to do it collectively, including you, Rashford. If you're not ready to dance to this tune, you get out of this kitchen if it's too hot for you to stay.
Well, all right. Still talking about our football stories now. RB Salzburg. Remember that on Monday they let go of that Pepin Lenders.
Yes.
And at this point, they've hired Thomas Lecks as coach of the Australian club, as they are also eyeing a turnaround ahead of the Club World Cup next year, and the arrival of Jurgen Klopp as head of soccer. Well, all right, still talking about some football stories now in Spain. Barcelona, they've said they are going to the appeal to court for Dani Olmo's registration. Well, it is said that FC Barcelona might lose out on Dani Olmo again come January. Come January. And I begin to question, how have FC Barcelona so much crumbled? Well, we'll talk about retaining the best legs.
There's so much for Laporte to do now. I also saw somewhere that they might be looking at getting a few players out. One of them is the Dane, Christensen. If he leaves, that'll probably free up something.
I don't think he has been playing Eric Garcia and...
Eric Garcia played the last game against Leganes.
What's this partnership now?
Ronald Araujo?
No, the young guy.
The Pau Kubasi.
Kubasi, yeah. I think they formed this quite a partnership.
Yeah, but the last game where they lost to Leganes, Eric Garcia was on loan to Girona, played in that game, started in that game. So now they might just be looking at Christensen rather. If he leaves Barca, they might free up something that might allow them register the former Leipzig man Dani Olmo. But for now, it doesn't look good for them. Took them something extra for them to sign him, to register him in the summer. But now it looks like there's an expiration to that, which might end in this year and go into the new year. If they don't get that done on time, they might be forced to sell. But for Barca, it will take them, we've said this before, 3, 4, 5 years for them to get to a point where they're stabilized. Don't forget one of the reasons they told 𝐾𝐃 to go also, but because of them trying to balance the book. and they just allow him go with a player with a year left on his deal. And in spite of all that, it was still tough for them to register Danny Olmo. So we wait to see in the next few weeks who are the players to leave. Will Ansefatu leave? Will, like I mentioned, Christensen will also leave? So it's a tough one now for Barca, a club that usually you want to go play for, but now some players want to, but the financials are not good.
Well, still coming to talk about football. The Nigeria Premier Football League and PFL, they have cautioned Shooting Stars head coach. That's 𝐒𝐈� 𝐒𝐏𝐒𝐿. Remember that match, the 12 encounter against the Ikorodu City, where we lost by 2-1, where he questioned at the level of officiating of the Nigerian referees. So now, at the NPFL body, they have, issued a warning to 𝐒𝐈𝐄 𝐒𝐏𝐿. So should this happen again, that would be maybe a big fine and a heavy blow on 𝐒𝐈𝐄 𝐒𝐏𝐿. And lastly, before we leave, before we get into that, the double-legged semi-finals at the Wembley Stadium, some quarter-final games are set to go down. And I want to know your thoughts on the teams you see getting through into the semi-finals. Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Brentford, Southampton, Liverpool.
Yes, the London derby. Arsenal, Everton, goalless. Before that, they won the UEFA Champions League. Before the Champions League, they didn't get maximum points in that game. Struggled for the Gunners. Palace are in town. Palace, who, of course, went to Amex, won against Brighton by 3-1. This time they go away from home to play against the Gunners. Tough one for Arsenal tonight. The fans want something. Will Arteta give them something after 5 years in charge? The other game is Newcastle against Brentford. For the other first one, I think Arsenal will get this one done against the Eagles. Newcastle against Brentford. Newcastle will get this one done. And of course, Liverpool will confirm, or it's not confirmed now, add more to the misery of saying talking about sometimes. So tonight, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool should go through.
Thanks so much, Peter, for joining me on the show. I am SAMIES, your sports captain. Do enjoy the rest of the day, and bye for now.
Serena Resort.